Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Top Podcast. I'm your host, Michael, coming to you with the honorable mentions from episode 13, Most Embarrassing Moments, featuring Hot Kyle. As a disclaimer, things went a lot off the rails as we got into this section, and more inappropriate than they normally do. So there is some viewer discretion advised. There's nothing horrendous, but it's not for everyone. So go forth as you dare. And Mom, as soon as I start talking about telling jokes that bomb, you're just going to want to stop. We'll just leave it at that. So with that, we hope you enjoy this edition of The Top Pod After Dark.
Do we have any honorable mentions?
One time when I was waiting tables, I referred to a girl as a boy. I said, "Here you go, sir." And it was a family, and this was like the oldest daughter of the family. And the whole family looked at me like, "What?" and she loved it. She was like, "See, Dad, I told you I look like a boy." And you could tell it was a major point of contention in the family that I really brought to the surface. And it was just awkward from that point on. It was, how do you recover from that? It was weird.
Do you think that's better or worse?
Waiting tables that same day. It was one of the best things that happened the entire time I worked there.
Oh, you remember this?
I was praying that you would tell this story the entire time.
It was just she had so much pride and the dad had so much shame that's what made it weird.
Dude, it wasn't even your fault. She was just wearing a hoodie with the hood up. Precise. All you had was short a 16-year-old face.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm
you took a shot.
I'm just my polite waiter voice. "Here you go, ma'am. Here you go, sir." And I made a mistake. It happens.
That's my daughter.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think it's worse to misgender people or to be like, "Oh, how far along are you?" Like that type of a pregnancy one. Which one do you think is worse?
I would be more uncomfortable with the pregnancy one. I'm not going to be stupid enough to go on the internet and speak to which of those is a worse thing, but I would feel more visceral reaction to the pregnancy one.
I remember I was training for AMC, working at AMC. They're just yeah, never say anything like that to someone. Just don't be stupid.
You guys had trainings? That's hilarious.
Yeah, we had a couple, it was 2 or 3 training sessions when we got hired.
So another honorable mention is that I used to work for 98.7 Amp Radio, and I was in promotions where you just go to concerts and you hand out merch and stuff. Dated a girl that was on the promotions team for a while, and she ended up on air. And I receive a call from the radio station at literally 6:30 in the morning one morning. And I woke me up, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Hey, the promotions team, somebody's suing the promotions team. And we need you to make a statement for our lawyers before they go into court today. Can you just hang on the line and make a statement about this thing that happened a couple days ago?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, you got it." So I'm rubbing my eyes, trying to wake up, and boom, the radio show pops up over the phone, and they're like, "Hey, Kyle, surprise, we're live on air right now, and we've got your ex-girlfriend right here, and we're going to just talk about what happened." And I spring out of my bed what is going on? And they hit me with the hardest questions you could ask a guy after a breakup. They're like, "So what went wrong? Why didn't you like Jess anymore? So tell us about this. So tell us about this." And it's 6:30 in the freaking morning, and I'm live on air, just panicking, doing my best to save face, and knowing that there's all these people doing their morning commute listening.
Should have been she cheated on me. Just made her paint because she probably went to them and told them to. You should have made her look like the worst person ever.
No, but they were even making jokes about how she said that I had a big dick and that she said this and they're getting way intimate and stuff. And then all of a sudden they went to my social media, pulled a bunch of pictures, posted them on the radio show website, and were
gosh,
and asked the fans crazy. "Hey, why go look up go see Kyle and tell us if Jess is better off with or without him." And all these comments were popping off on the website like crazy about how Jess is their girl and they can't believe this guy doesn't know what he lost. And this guy, like, Jess, you are so much better off without him. He ain't even that cute. Like, there was all this like anti-me like hate like in the comments section because they were also pro my girl on the radio station.
So you were like, you want to know why it ended? Me gusta chicos.
My next question is, why didn't you sue for harassment or defamation?
For real.
Yeah. Because ultimately, this was also at that stage of my life where I'm like, oh, even though it's embarrassing, it's hilarious. Like, ultimately, this did not affect me that deeply. None of the people that were commenting on the radio station knew. I did receive a few texts, funny enough. A few people were like, oh my God, I just heard you on the radio. What the hell? But like, ultimately, it's a hilarious story. Jess was extremely apologetic. She was my ex. And she was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, they kind of like got out of hand with this one. And I was mostly unbothered. It was a little embarrassing, but that's why it wasn't in my top 3 because I wasn't that embarrassed. It was fine. I would have been
like, that's okay. My wallet's feeling a little heavier this time, you know?
And I'm just like, this does not affect me in any way. I don't care about what these random people online are saying. Like, it was funny. It's a great story. And if it was good content for them, then like, whatever, all the better.
I'm proud of you because I would have lost my mind. I would have been knocking on my ex-girlfriend's door.
Wow.
Yeah.
You would have talked to the crazy Carl.
I would have got crazy Carl on it. That's crazy.
See, I'd have just hung up.
That's so interesting because for me, I'm hearing these things, and I'm like, A, it's no fun to hang up. And B, it's just like, I don't know. I just I really rolled with it. I was like, all right, this is what we're doing. I was honest was the thing. I'm like, all right, you're going to ask me why we broke up. Fine. Here we go. Here's the thing. I just stopped feeling it. I'm like, you want the guy perspective. Here it is. Like, it wasn't what we, it started out as one thing. We realized it wasn't that. And it was time to move on. Like I was honest and I got to defend myself. I wasn't just like, oh, I don't know. I was like, it's 6:30 a.m. I have nothing but honesty in my head right now. If you're going to ask me questions, I will give you honest answers.
I mean, also to be fair, it sounds like the breakup was good. I don't think I've ever had a clean breakup, so I think that's the
okay. And that is a big difference because we did have a breakup where we're still friends to this day. Like I just ran into our Comic-Con the other day and like we caught up. So we are still on good terms, which does make a big difference. If we were on bad terms and the intent was like, oh, screw this guy because he's the worst from all parties, then I might feel a little differently. But she was even on air being like, oh my God, guys, stop. But they were the ones that were like kind of pushing it further for the sake of like good material on air. Mm-hmm. And I was here for it. I get it. It's entertainment. You do what you got to do. And I'm just going to answer honestly. I feel like I held my own. It wasn't like too embarrassing for me or anything because I just answered honestly, had some good answers. And a few weeks later, it was just like nothing happened. They did also pull, it's funny, they pulled the worst pictures from my social media as well. I think they really wanted to make me look bad. And that's what bothered me more was like, look, you're going to pull the pictures of me looking cringe as hell and make that like the representation of me.
You know who I am? I'm Hot Kyle.
Exactly. Like, come on, at least do me some service with what you pulled online. But ultimately inconsequential, and it's a good story, so I'm fine with it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what else to say. All right. Mine are not as crazy. I just got my adult job. A lot of these are like a job situations. I just got my adult job and I accidentally somehow sent a GIF of Ryan Gosling in the movie Crazy Stupid Love reaction face. I don't know how many people are actually going to get this. But if you go to your memes on your phone and type in Ryan Gosling, that's the first one that I sent to him. And I did not know what to do after that because I barely talked to my boss and he just gave me his number and I accidentally sent him this GIF. And I wasn't even supposed to be in that day, but I went to work and apologized to him face to face. And he was like, I just thought you were one of my hoes. Exactly that one. Yeah, Robert.
That was it?
Yep. That one's it. Yep. That one was it. Yeah. He was like, yeah, I just thought you were one of my hoes. So I was like, okay. I'm happy that you took that really well. My second adult job, my ear was really bugging me for some reason. And I was just and I know you're not supposed to do this, but I was just fingering my ear. I was just getting all up in my ear and just trying to figure out what was wrong with it. And my new boss, I don't know how long she was there, but she was looking at me doing that. And then looked at me and then did not say anything after that. She didn't ask me how I was doing or didn't ask me, like, are you okay? As I'm just, like, trying to touch my freaking brain. So that's one more. And then the last one is, I think I've already said this. I hope Robert doesn't cut this out, but I'm a parrot. So if I hear a word, I repeat it over and over and over again. But I'm hanging out with Robert, and he called me a dick. And I just never heard Robert cuss a lot.
That's not
And
even
I
a cuss word. Also, the preference,
fair
we were
enough.
at my future mother-in-law's house, but we were just at her house after church.
You remember why you called me a dick?
I don't know. I probably use dick pretty frequently.
You were probably being a
Yeah.
dick.
So
Probably was.
I don't think I was being a dick. That's the thing. I mean, if I was, I apologize. And so I think that's what shook me, is that he called me a dick in front of my wife, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm really feeling awkward right now. And so the way to get the nervous energy out, I just said dick over and over and over and over again. And I'm just like, dick, dick, dick. And I'm saying it. And I didn't know that Robert's mother-in-law was in the kitchen right next to me as I'm shouting out dick as loud as I can, pretty much. And so, yeah, I don't know. Every time I see Robert's mom, I get a little weirded out because I don't know if she heard me say dick over and over again.
Well, she listens to the podcast, so I guess we'll find out.
I guess so.
This will be on
It's
the honorable mention pod, so she'll have to search it out on YouTube. We'll see if she listens to this.
Oh,
one.
I'll find it and send it to her.
Again, if you are listening to this, I'm not gonna say her name. If you did hear it, I'm sorry. I don't really know what to say.
This is your chance to come
I'm a
clean.
parrot. I can't help myself. I am so sorry. I've talked to God about it. I think we're cool. Thank you for all the hospitality. Thank you so much for all the tea that you've given me in the past. I really appreciate it.
And Lucian's hand is in the mail.
My hand is not in the mail. I'm not going to send this to you because I don't feel worthy for you to make me gloves because I screamed dick in your house. I'm just being honest. I've talked to my therapist.
My original number one was just going to be like, whenever you asked a girl out and got rejected, that was going to be my number one. Because, you know, there are some guys that I don't know whether they just get used to it or it just never phases them. But they're like, yeah, you know, I'll just shot my shot and that's it. I was never that guy. I always took it very personal. I'm like, oh, why do you hate me? What do you hate about me? And yeah, so that's, I always felt embarrassed and ashamed of myself and everything. Like I wasn't good enough, which probably has, you know, more to say about some mental psyche in my own brain. But yeah, that was going to be my number one. Didn't really have a good story to go with it. Number two would be, I think Michael talked about it last week or the week before, where there's this girl I liked at church and I accidentally sent her a Bo Burnham sketch. And yeah, that was awkward because we were halfway through and I didn't catch the last half of that Bo Burnham where it really got pretty raunchy there.
It starts off so appropriate. And he sent it. He was like, I'm going to send this to beep. And I was like, oh yeah, dude, that's great. And then the second half came and he was like, what did I do?
You could be my scarecrow.
Oh, what's the sketch?
It's a Bo Burnham country song. I'm looking it up right now to see if it's got a.
So he makes fun of like country music,
song.
And it starts out, you know, just your regular shots at country music, but then it's like him having relationships with a scarecrow and things like that. So,
All right, great, love it.
and this woman was very sheltered.
I think I don't have any super specific ones, but I think anytime I've gotten better at it, and you have to with the sheer volume of jokes I make. But when you make a joke and it just crickets,
Yes.
For example. One of the most consistent bring down the house funny stories I have is the story of the first time I smoked weed. And I'll tell you what, when you tell that story on a podcast where people are all far away from you and there's no body language to work with, it comes out awkward as hell, man. like that story brings down the house every other time I've ever told it. I told it on the podcast and it was like, Michael, okay? And I was just like, oh, geez, this is not working.
What's that story? What happens?
So I asked this girl out, right? It's not long after a breakup. I ask a new girl out. She says no. I feel you, Rob. And so I'm kind of a mess. And we go to I end up going to this house party. And I asked a buddy to pick me up some booze. So I got a fifth of 5 o'clock and just like a big thing of juice. And so like we roll in, and I'm not the most socially comfortable person. Like Kyle preps himself mentally to interact with a bunch of people he doesn't know. I cry in a corner for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, all right, we'll just make the best of this. And so like I asked for a cup, and I do like a third of the fifth of of 5 o'clock, and then the rest juice. I put it down pretty quick, and I'm like, okay, I'm having a good time. This is fun. And who should walk in but the girl who just turned me down? And I was like, all right, we can handle this. Another third of a fifth, pour the rest of the juice, pound it. I'm having a good time again. And up to this point, all my coworkers who smoke they've been trying to get me to smoke nonstop, and I'm just not interested in it. Not my thing. At this point, though, I'm 2/3 of a fifth of 5 o'clock in, and this girl comes up and she's like, "Hey, do you want to come smoke a bowl with us?" And do you know Pigpen from Charlie Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the dude who walks and dust comes off of him with like every movement. I swear to you, this girl was the real life embodiment of that character. And I was just like, you're kind of hot in an earthy sort of way. Yeah, sure. And so like
in an earthy sort of way.
I was pretty drunk, but I'm still articulate. And we go downstairs and we're all passing the bowl around. And I'm like, man, this is locking it in. Like I felt good because I was trashed, but like the weed kind of just condenses it. And I think I might like this. And so like I come upstairs and I'm telling all my buddies like, hey, I smoked weed. And they're all super excited because you know how stoners get when somebody finally converts. They're more excited than Christians. And and so like the party, like it fades out. It's just the coworkers at this point. Somehow it's just like these people who work at the restaurant. And they're like, hey, you want to smoke again? And I was like, well, if it was good once. So we light up again. And I start getting the crossfade spins, like I'm so tired. I can barely keep my eyes open. But every time I close my eyes, the world's just going. And like they can tell what's going on. And they're like, hey, man, like if you need to puke, you can just go puke. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm not good. And so like I get up. I sprint for the bathroom. I feel it come up. I clamp my hands over my mouth. A little bit shoots out my nose, hits my buddy on the foot. He turned out to be a jerk later, so I'm not too upset about it in hindsight. I get to the toilet and I just projectile vomit into the sink. And that's the last thing I remember until I wake up. And I'm like, got my eyes closed. And this is part of where being in person helps the story, because I usually close my eyes at this point. So you can see the exact moment that my eyes open in the story because my eyes are now closed for the telling of the story. And I'm like, man, this is just the most comfortable pillow ever. And this is the most snuggly blanket. And whose bed am I in? I am freaking out. I finally get up the courage to open my eyes, and I'm still staring down the toilet.
What?
And somebody just came in, saw me pass out on the ground, and just put a throw pillow under my head and tossed a blanket on me and just left me there overnight. But I was terrified. Like, whose bed am I in? What happened last night after I passed out? Oh, nothing. I slept next to the toilet.
Yeah. Anyone who had to go to the bathroom had to step over you.
Yeah, it was a mess. There was a lot to unpack in that story and a lot of bad choices. But by the time we got to our number ones that week, I was so tired, and it just came out like so low energy. And
So
Lucian was
depressing.
like, and Lucian was just like, so what did we learn? And I was like, it was so bad. He called me and was like, hey man, I'm sorry if I crossed any lines. I was like, no, it's all good. That story went way off the rails anyway. There was no fixing that scenario.
When you share that story, it felt like I was in AA group. And
it went so wrong.
it was so bad. And I felt like it was like, just in case some Danish is listening to this and wants to drink again. I hope this helps him, but this does not do anything good for our podcast. So, but yes, I'm happy that you shared it. It's a lot funnier the second time.
I'm telling you, that story usually, I was so confused. I was like, why is everybody so somber? This story usually brings down the house.
Kyle, has anyone ever passed out at your parties? Like someone you're not like super close with?
Yes. Yeah. I've had people pass out that I've had to like carry around. Actually, my biggest nightmare of somebody being too drunk at my party was I woke up in the morning and I could hear a strange sound in the hallway. And I was like, what is that? There's something really weird going on in the hallway. And all of a sudden it clicked. And this is like 6 a.m. Sun's like just coming up. I only went to bed a few hours earlier. And I sprint out of my bed and whip open the door to find a guy standing in the hallway, dick out, peeing on my hallway wall.
Oh.
And I was furious. And I had to grab this guy while he's peeing. And literally, like, I'm a bigger guy. And I just used all of my strength and anger to literally lift this guy up and carry him to the bathroom and set him down in front of the toilet. And I was fucking livid. He was peed the whole time.
Dang, it's like a dog, like a puppy. You're like, no, this is where you put his nose in it.
Yeah,
that's so kind of you, Kyle. That was the most kind. I thought you were going to kick him out, but no, you let him.
Yeah, no, I pictured this story ending with the dude peeing on your front lawn for sure.
Yeah, what? Such a kind thing. Oh my gosh.
I was just like, stop peeing in my goddamn hallway. I was really pissed because I remember we're just waking up to the sound of like that light, like the stream hitting the wall, and I was trying to figure out what the hell that noise was. And
was that the sound of you peeing? The sound that you made.
I was like, I don't know how to make the sound of a stream hitting a hallway wall more over the mic.
It was good. Yeah.
I do have another honorable mention, though. Same girlfriend that completely bailed on me when I knocked the glass door off its hinges. Looking back, she's a bit of a sadist. Like, and Whoa. She had expressed interest in waxing my beehole.
That's just kind of courtesy.
Listen, there was no business happening back there. There was no handwork.
Well, that was the next step. That's the next step.
Oh, that was you were right.
She's like, I heard he likes Chico's, so let's try this. Pull out some toys.
She had just seen that she had just seen that there was a lot of hair in that area, and she just wanted the satisfaction of waxing it. And I always laughed it off. And
are you bending down on your girlfriend? Are you accidentally picking up quarters and showing your ass on your girl?
No, we would just like shower together.
Like, really I don't know if you. I don't know if you want. I don't know if you want to send this one anymore. This honorable mentions. There's just casual naked time that happens when you are with somebody. And the ass was seen. I was never exposing my beehole, and I will stand by this story. You can post this if you want. Oh no, I was saying I don't want Mike's mom. I don't know if you want. If Laura,
you're saying don't share this with his mother-in-law.
That's fair enough. Okay, you can cut it if you need to.
I'll cut it. I'll find a way to just send half.
I'm just gonna tell the story, and you can take or leave as much as you want from it.
I'll be like, Mom, when I start talking about smoking weed, just stop listening.
Stop listening, yeah.
It only goes butthole from there, downhill from there.
Kyle likes to show his asshole to all his girls.
Well, and literally for one of her birthdays, I was like, okay, fine. It's your birthday. I felt like I have a ton of money to throw you stuff. I got you some gifts, but also as a present, here's a waxing kit. You can wax my beehole. And it was one of the most uncomfortable, unpleasant things I've ever experienced in my life. And what's funny,
who could have foreseen that?
Yeah. What's funny is like it's not even the pain of the sheet coming off. It's the application of hot wax on the area. You got to like spread it like jam on a surface area. And first off, you can only imagine the position I had to get into to have this be applied.
I'm sure Jacob's imagining it right now.
Oh my God. So, and it was hot.
That's not about you drinking.
And she loved every freaking second of it. The biggest mistake I made was that I let her take pictures.
Oh my. No.
So I don't, in theory, they're deleted, but also in theory, they're out there somewhere.
They're on Reddit. I'm going to search Hot Kyle butthole pics.
Hot Kyle beehole pics. And we were all drunk like 3 months later. And
these Eli, are definitely a Patreon perk when we get one.
My best friend Eli found out this happened, and she was showing him the pictures. And I've got a video on my phone of Eli. He's never screamed so loud in his life. He doesn't remember this. He was blackout drunk. And he was just screaming at the fact that she let me do this. And like, and you see the reaction on his face when he sees the
You
picture.
still
I'm
have
like,
that video.
I might. I should go find the video and see if I can get it because it is.
If you
pretty
can
damn
find
hilarious.
the video of Eli reacting would be wonderful to tag on it.
Yeah, you got it. I'll do what I can to find it. That's my other honorable mention. Just because, like, it was supposed to be this fun little thing. All right, fine. It's for my girlfriend. I love her. Whatever. And then she took pictures, and it was also I had to like back down, legs up. Like I had to get in a weird position for this to work.
You're
The whole
like a
thing was one
cat.
of the most.
You're like a cat backing up there.
No, I had to I laid on my back. I was not gonna bend over. I laid on my back and put my legs up. I don't know. Either way, it was horrendous. There's no comfortable position to be doing this. But
Oh my gosh.
but the beehole looked clean. What can I say?
Pro tip that I
Did she find it attractive? Was
Some
she
no.
like
It was
No?
purely like hilarity and irony to her.
sound like she was a dom, you know,
Wow.
how she enjoyed like ripping it off. You
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
Exactly. This
Yeah.
had nothing to do with any kind of sexual tension. She just thought it was hilarious. And she just like enjoyed the process of putting me through that. In hindsight, she's kind of a sadist.
Pro tip I learned from Dave and Chuck the Freak: a little bit of nair, that can clean it right up down there. That whole area, a little bit of nair. It's hair removal cream.
Oh, yeah, nice. Is that I've never
That whole
I've ever had the
area, if you want to
inclination.
go a little further up, it's yeah, it works.
Did you ever got icy hot on your balls? Has that ever happened?
Just
to any of
Gold
you guys?
Bond.
This episode is sponsored by Manscaped.
Am I the only one that's ever gotten icy hot on your balls? That's crazy.
I don't think I've
Why?
ever used
I
icy
mean,
hot.
Terrible experience.
I'm going to be honest. I think it's not crazy that you're the only one. I think it's crazy that happened to you at all.
Yeah, this is coming from the
Yeah,
peanut butter
it's
guy.
Never mind, it makes
I don't
perfect
want
sense.
to. I don't want to be the peanut butter guy.
Well, you're the icy hot guy now too. So
Combine them both, and you're in for
Yo.
a wild time.
hold on. What
Um,
happens when you put icy hot on your balls, though? I need to know the resolution to this.
I mean, yeah, you take a shower. That's the only thing you can do. First you rub it in front of your family like you're a psychopath. Just like I'm just hanging out with my family having dinner, and my balls are on fire. And so you try to fix it discreetly, and then it just grows and grows and grows, and then you just have to be like, I have to take a shower now because my balls are about to fall off. It feels like so.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say it. I'm gonna put it out in the universe. If this podcast gets 1 million followers in the next 6 months, all three of us will do a live reaction. You only see our faces, but we'll all put icy hot on the globes down there. So
You heard it
share
here
and like.
first. Rob, Lucien, and Kyle will all put icy hot on their balls.
What 1.5, and we all get our assholes waxed.
Yep.
Done.
Yeah, I'm
then we'll
totally.
get it
Yeah.
done regularly.
I would have done it for a lot less, to be honest with you.
That's what I'm saying. 1 million's a big number. If you guys
Yeah.
get 10,000, you can put the camera in my face and we can re-wax my beehole.
All right, you heard it here first.
No.
You heard it here first.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Top Pod After Dark. If you had as much fun listening as we had recording, then please like, follow, and subscribe. You know the things to do. If you're listening to this podcast, you clearly know how to get to the deep annals of the internet. Please follow Hot Kyle at Kyle Kimlick, KIMLICK, on Instagram for all his juicy goodness. And until next time, peace out, toppers.